Allison Rosen. Allison Rosen is your new best friend. Allison, with her good times never end. Allison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Allison Rosen. Allison's your new best friend.
Hey everyone, hi, hello. Welcome to another exciting episode of Allison Rosen is your new best friend. I'm sitting here in my studio with someone that I have been wanting to have on the show for a long time because I have become quite a fan of hers. Please put your hands together for Tiffany Gabrus.
Thanks, everybody, for the round of applause. So sweet. Thank you.
You didn't know that we had a whole audience stuffed into this tiny studio.
Just for me.
I know.
And you.
So you are the beloved wife of friend of the show and frequent guest Jon Gabrus.
I am.
And you now are a florist. After a life of being an entertainment exec, which we will get into, you are pursuing your passion.
Yes, ma'am.
And you are now a florist. And you run a... Would you say it's like a designed house? Is it a boutique? Is it a firm? What do we call it?
I love it. It's such a funny thing. When you don't have a proper space, it is something I struggle with. I'm like, what is this? Because I'm running it out of the apartment. I think it's a boutique.
Okay.
Let's call it a boutique.
A boutique.
Yeah, we're going to go with a boutique.
A beautiful boutique.
It's a beautiful boutique because, I mean, it is in our house and it is beautiful. I mean, I wish I could open it to the public.
Yeah.
I think my husband would murder me. I actually, when I first started, was allowing people, I was allowing people to come and pick up, even if I didn't know them. And then after a while, I'm like, I should probably stop doing this. This is really weird.
Yeah.
I'm allowing strangers to come to my house. So we stopped.
Did anything like weird happen? Or
No, I actually really loved it because I have a really fun apartment. So people come in and they're like, what? I'm like, I know. It's like adult, like Disneyland in here, essentially. It's like very whimsical and like over the top. Your son would love it with all my little like gothy like nuances that I have everywhere. Like
I was explaining that I have a goth son.
Yeah. Which I have.
Because Tiffany saw the crow or the raven when she walked in.
It was the first thing I saw. I was like,
I don't even think I've noticed that.
Yes. It's I'll show you. Its eyes light up and it goes like caca, caca in a spooky way. I think it might talk as well.
You think?
I forget.
It's pretty fabulous. I think everybody needs one. I want a talking raven.
Who doesn't want
I don't
one?
know.
I mean, Edgar Allan Poe honed right in on that.
That's right.
Okay, so nothing creepy happened, but you were like, this is a potential for creepiness.
Yeah, it's just like also too like, you know, Jon being Jon, and it's like I don't know if people want to come over and pick up because they're like, oh, Gabrus lives here. You know, I don't know. Jon, does that happen? Do people want to follow you home, baby? I don't know. So anyways.
Probably.
I'd want to follow him home.
Yeah, they could be. You did, right?
I did, essentially. No, we met in college. We met so long ago.
But they could be huge fans of, 101 places to visit before you die?
So close. 101 places to party before you die.
That's right.
Yes.
I had the verb wrong.
No,
okay.
you're good.
So anyway, florist, boutique, and lately, because everyone should follow you on Instagram.
Yes, please do.
You're at The Sweetser Life,
yes,
right?
I'm The Sweetser Life.
The Sweetser Life is also the name of your boutique.
Yes.
But I've been following you for a while, and I love watching. You can see like the creations as they come together and stuff. It seems like lately you have been providing flowers for all sorts of cool events. And Lady Gaga was pictured with one of your creations.
I lost my mind. I had an order came in for her, and the person that sent them to her, their friends, her agent, etc. So I was hoping at the very least, I'm like, because they know each other, she'd be like, hey, Allie, these were really pretty. Thank you. I was just home and I was scrolling through my feed like it was any other moment of the day. And they had gone out earlier in the day. And all of a sudden, she pops up in my feed and I'm like, wait, what? And my hair, I used to bleach my hair. And I was like, is that me? I got so I really was so confused because she's like super chill and casual in it. She's got like a gray t-shirt on, like no makeup. And I was like, I just saw like ostrich feathers and I'm like, I know that work. I'm like, is that me? I was so confused. I'm like, oh my God. And then I just went into like, I couldn't even play it cool. Like, I'm not going to try and play it cool here. Like, I lost my fucking mind.
Yeah.
I started doing like micro, like hyperventilating. I was like, oh my God, what do I do? And I just called my mom right away because like Jon wasn't home. And I'm like, Lady Gaga just posted on her feed and she hadn't posted in so long. And it had been like, I don't know, like 2 months. So they were sent to her for her Oscar nomination for her song for Top Gun.
That's so cool.
So it was really,
So when
That
you
was
made
magnificent.
the bouquet, is that right?
No, a bouquet is when it's not in a vase.
Okay.
Right. That's like a handheld thing. So
Right.
like when you get married, like that's you're holding your bouquet.
Yes.
Like that's the
So
bouquet.
what would you call what you made?
I like to call my girls pieces because I like to treat them like they're little art pieces,
Yes.
you know, but I think most commonly they'd be referred to as arrangements.
Okay, so when you made your piece,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
knew you were making it for Lady Gaga.
I did. I knew it was for her. And I do really big, extravagant pieces. I think sometimes it's hard to tell online with the photos.
scale, yeah.
Exactly. When I made her a piece the first time when she came to visit, she was like, Tiffany, these are massive. I'm like, I know. I'm like, you can't tell. So sometimes I'll do a shot with Arthur, our little Boston Terrier, and I call it Artie for perspective. Because he's like, he's a 25-pound Boston Terrier. So it gives you like a good idea. But these had to be smaller because they were going into a trailer. So I was getting the heads up. I was like, don't do your normal like crazy. I was like, you got it. So yeah, so I hand jeweled the anthurium, and I just wanted to feel like it's the Oscars. I wanted to feel like vintage old Hollywood glam. So like that was the vibe I was going for. It's like mostly the vibe I'm going for.
Old Hollywood glam.
Yeah, kind
vintage?
of like everything. It's very like it's very like glam and glitzy what I do.
Have you always been drawn to sparkly things?
Yes. Oh, like always. I think it started. I know where it started. It started with my mom and my grandmother, especially my mom's mom. She was just really fabulous and just had like an insane. Like we were talking about jewelry before we got on the air, and you would have died over her collection of like costume jewelry and just. I mean, like you see, like I'm layered up over here. I've got like, brooch and a choker on.
YouTube.com/Allison Rosen to see. Wait,
yeah.
I'm going to take a guess of how many rings do you know how many
gosh.
rings you're wearing?
No, but
because there's like multiples on fingers.
There
I'm going
are.
to guess it's over 15 rings.
you're so close. And on
14.
certain days it is 13.
Okay.
Ooh, good number. Hi. On purpose. But yeah, no. So I grew up watching a lot of old Hollywood movies, and my grandmother was just like, she was just over the top and was always like singing like Broadway tunes, and like Gypsy Rose Lee was like one of my like favorite movies growing up. Like Singing in the Rain is my favorite movie. I'm like, just like anything like old Hollywood vintage. I'm like, give it to me, give it to me. So I think that comes a lot. That comes through in my work. And like a little like Art Deco-y too.
Mm-hmm.
Just all these little influences. And I just love whimsy, and I don't know. I just want them to feel like their own like little showgirls almost.
So I was listening to, you were on an episode of a fellow friend of the show and frequent guest Betsy Sodaro's podcast.
Yes, love that.
And she commented that what you do, like it's art what you're making, because it makes her, like, she doesn't know a lot about flowers, which is kind of the same with me, but like it makes her feel something.
Makes me feel so good to hear that.
Yeah, and I thought it was I love that moment of the show, because I thought it was, first of all, like a really interesting definition. It's so hard to define what art is.
Agreed.
But the idea that like, oh, art is something that makes you feel something. I like that. And then also, ever since I heard her say that, every time I look at your account, I always think like, it really is art.
Oh,
I mean, it
thank
really
you.
is like, it's just incredible.
Thank
and
you.
again, I say this as someone who's like, when I got married,
Mm-hmm.
I was asked, what's your favorite flower? And I'm like, I'm supposed
like,
to have a favorite flower? I don't know.
That's an unfair question too to ask the bride.
But it made, you know what it was? It made me feel like, oh, there probably are a lot of brides to be who their whole life they've been choosing their flowers.
That's true.
And for me, it just was like another thing on the list that I had to make
think
decisions about.
Mm-hmm.
And the flowers are really pretty, but I feel
Yeah.
like the stuff that you do is like show stopping.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very unique. I also taking back, it is totally fair to ask a bride what her favorite flower is. Why am I saying that? Like, that's one of my first questions. Like, Tiffany, what are you saying? But I think it can be like daunting and overwhelming to people. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know the names of like half the flowers out there. I mean, the varieties and everything, like, it's bananas. Like, I know my favorites, I know my go-tos. There are some that I love, and they're tried and true in certain ways, and I'm like, I can't even recall the name right now off the top of my head.
Right.
But yeah, because there's just so many. But what did you end up going with for your? Did you like? I feel like color and vibe is always a really good place to start with a bride,
Yes.
right? It's like what's the mood? Like, what are you going for? That's usually where I like to start.
I'm trying to remember if we settled on a mood. I think it was more colors,
yeah.
and it was like blue, white, purple,
Oh, pretty.
like all the sort of cold tone,
Yeah, I love
kind
that.
of stuff. I mean, I do remember, And I don't even feel that. I don't know what happened to me before my wedding. I started feeling, it's like, I don't have opinions about, I didn't then. Now I do. Now that I've seen your stuff, I do
now
have
you know
opinions
better. I've educated
about
you.
flowers. Right. But back then, like, I feel like in the run up to getting married, all of a sudden you like have to form opinions about a whole bunch of stuff that normally doesn't enter your consciousness.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like peonies are being foisted on me, and I don't love them. I don't love really it, but
You're like the first person I think to ever say they don't love
I
peonies.
know. Well,
I love this.
See, I feel
Let's
like
talk
maybe
about it.
But was I just trying to zig when they were all zagging? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know if I'm just like, I'm different. I don't love PC flowers. Today I'm fine with them.
Yeah, you're just being a little contrarian. I get that.
I think maybe I was. So she put like, is it English roses?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that is just a peony by another name.
It kind of
You're
is.
not hearing what I'm saying.
Because it was probably a texture thing with you.
I think so.
It was like too like frou-frou and fluffy maybe.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I also have that, is it called tryptophobia? It's that thing where like things that have like lots of tiny little holes make me feel icky.
Gross. I discussed this with somebody else. Yes. What is that?
I don't know, but it's like an actual phobia. I think it's called like, it makes me think of tryptophan, but I think it is tryptophobia.
I know what you're talking.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't have it, but like when someone brings it up and I really start to think about it, I'm like, yeah, no, it's disgusting.
Because to me, it's like decaying flesh.
It is, and it's itchy. Like, are you watching The Last of Us?
No. However,
you cannot.
I'm not watching it, but my husband is. Mm-hmm. So what that means is I have seen more than I wanted to. Yeah. And like, Tony, where are you with The Last of Us? Oh, hello, Tony.
Hi.
Man, I broke okay, so some background.
Oh, yeah.
Tiffany. I had been forgetting to introduce Tony, and I was introducing him like around the 40-minute mark.
Yeah.
Which is so rude. And then
because you're cozy. You're here.
I'm just used to it.
It's comforting. I don't know. It's like you don't have to be like, oh, who's this over? It's like, it's Tony.
I'm just part of the chair, basically.
Tony, you're more than just part of the chair.
Well, to Allison.
Yeah. No, but then I went through a phase where I was introducing him around the 3-minute mark, but I've broken my streak in a bad way. Hello.
Hi.
Well, do you have flower opinions?
Oh, yeah, of course.
So many.
What's your favorite?
Oh, the Bavarian lilacs.
Oh my God, those are so pretty.
So pretty. I'm like, I don't know what they look like. Are they even a thing?
Yeah, of
they
course.
are now. Yeah, they are.
Uh-huh.
Every florist listening is like, she's an idiot. I'm like, oh well.
Is it getting hot in here, you guys?
I am toasty.
It is warm, right?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's the flower talk.
Do you know what it is? I know. The flowers get you hot and that is the thing, though, I do like about what I do, if I can talk about my own work.
Please do.
And what I like about it. But I like them to be sexy. You know, I feel like flowers are always thought of something that's like really sweet and romantic. And yes, they're sweet and romantic too. But I like having like a little like sexy edge to them, you know? I would assume that I love just assuming, but I would think with my work, what I think people are responding to and what you're responding to is it's not traditional looking, right? And that was the thing when I wanted to start this. People were like, well, how are you going to be different? And I'm like, I don't know. It's me. It's just going to be different because it's going to feel like me and my aesthetic and my style.
Who was saying this to you?
Several people. Because like, you think about it, it's like there's a million florists. Right. So it's like, what's going to make you so special? It was one particular person who's kind of a ball buster from Philly. So, you know, it's fine. Like one of my East Coast pals.
Okay.
So I got it. But it was a fair question. It was like, yeah, what is going to be different? And I couldn't answer it. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not classically, I've had zero training. I'm like, this was a hobby. This was a hobby that I did on the weekends when I wasn't traveling for it because I was a former, you know, executive that like we were talking about. And I traveled a lot because I worked on creative. So I travel like the world basically for photo shoots to do like the marketing campaigns. So when you're driving around, you know, in LA, you're seeing out of home, which is like the billboards. I was working on creating those, producing it, and then going and doing the shoot. So I was on the road a lot. And then I'd come home and Jon was like, you need something else to do besides work. You need a hobby. And I'm like, And I'm like, there's no time for hobbies. What do you mean? But I'm like, I always loved flowers. And when I graduated from college, I was like, I just want to be a florist. And my mother's like, hi, you have like $65,000 in student loans. You are not going to be a florist. I'm like, you are correct. I am not going to be a florist. Because she's right. You don't make a lot of money. It's a lot of, there is a way to do it. Like, you know, I'm getting into the volume game, which is kind of what you have to do because the ROI is just, it's not there. Flowers are expensive, you know, your time, your energy, your effort, everything that goes into it. It's just, you got to be constantly, you know, it was like before I came here, I got an order at the last minute. And I'm like, I can't say no to that. I'm like, Allison, I'm going to be a little late. I got to get this order out the door. So, yeah, I'm rambling now about orders out the door. I don't know.
No, it's interesting though. Okay. So you grew up East Coast?
Yes, East Coaster, New Yorker.
Upstate New York?
Oh, that's a good question. I say no.
Did you grow up in the city?
No. Well, I grew up in Westchester, and certain people, like my husband, people from Long Island, like to refer to Westchester as upstate. I'm like, I was 25 minutes out of the Bronx. Upstate, that does not make. To me, upstate, I would consider like Albany, New York, and above. I mean, because New York is
huge.
It's huge. She's tall, she's tall and she's wide. And I'm like, I'm not that far up there. But yeah, I grew up in Westchester County, so a suburb right outside of, New York City.
And then you went to Marist College.
I did.
Which is where you met Jon.
That is where we met.
I don't know much about, I've heard of Marist, but I don't, what was it like?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was just like a private Jesuit school on the Hudson River. It was really pretty. We went for communications, not the best college, I think, to go for radio, TV, film, but this is where we both ended up. Fortunately, because we ended up, being together now for 20 years. But it was like a pretty chill college. It wasn't like too crazy. I was like 45 minutes away from home. I didn't want to be that close to home, but state aid was a factor in it, and not having the money to go out of state. So I stayed local, and it was great and convenient being close to home, but it was like not exciting. I'm a city girl. I'm like, I grew up in the suburbs. I don't want to be now in like it's like even more suburban up here, because it's further upstate.
Everyone take a drink.
Everybody. Yeah, there we go. Every time we have to say upstate. But we went to school for communications, radio, TV, film. But when I graduated, I was like, I want to be a florist. I don't know where that came from. I must have been in a past life. I have no idea. And my mom was like, what? And I'm like, I know, this is so weird. Jon actually, when we graduated, bought me a book on flowers and floristry, and I think my mom still has it like up in her attic somewhere.
Have you always liked flowers?
I always loved them. I think as a kid I danced, and we'd like for the recitals you'd always get like so many flowers, and I would love coming home, and like, 'cause we had a big family, so like grandparents, great grandparents, aunts, uncles, everyone would bring me like all these bouquets, and then my room would just get like filled after these shows. And I loved it because it was whimsical. It made me feel like I was like in Alice in Wonderland. I felt like I was transported. My room didn't feel like my room anymore, and I love that. And I think that's what I gravitated towards, like as an adult too, where making it transported me. I was away from work. It was a creative outlet. And then, having this beautiful arrangement on my table, even in a house that has a lot of stuff, it made the space feel different. It felt more welcoming and inviting. And then to me, it represented you're home for a minute. You've made this thing, and it doesn't mean you're leaving in like 4 days. You're home for the next couple of weeks to enjoy it. So yeah, they symbolize a lot.
This is going to sound like the most cups half empty take on flower arrangements.
Go. I love it.
I'm sure you've heard this before.
Vase half full?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. When I receive like flowers from my husband or something, cut flowers, I just think to myself, well, couple days till they're all wilty and like falling apart.
Yeah. It's not true necessarily. I mean, this is where it gets complicated with, right? We are living with I think they're technically still living, but like it's a dead product. I mean, they've been cut. They've been stripped from their natural territory. And, when we go to the market at florists, things are coming in from all over the world. I mean, there was a time where I was like, I need sweet peas from something for these arrangements I was doing. They were like, great, we'll order them for Japan from you, one of my vendors. So like, we'll have them in 2 days. And I'm like, we're just going to have sweet peas flown in from Japan. They're like, we have other stuff coming in too. But I was like, wow, okay, cool. So yeah, stuff is not always maybe the freshest. So you have to be very careful, right? So there's that. So most florists, you should be using very fresh flowers. Then when you get them, guys, I know it's so annoying, but changing that water on a daily basis really makes a difference. You don't want them in this like nasty, murky sludge. Like, and I have a card when you order from me, kind of like these little cute like care instructions. And one of them is like, nobody likes a murky soak. Like, you don't want to sit in a nasty bathtub, right? You want clean water. Give the girls clean water.
Stefani sang about that.
That's right. Yes, she did. Oh my God, that divorce. But because she was singing about Gavin Rossdale. That was the Return to Saturn album. That was when she was like, I'm a big No Doubt person. Okay. I'm like, we could do a whole podcast on No Doubt right now if we wanted to. We can totally switch gears. So I won't digress. But so it's like, give them fresh water. Try not to keep them in a hot area. I mean, I know they look so beautiful in like the sunshine, but like they're gonna wilt.
Right.
A lot of the times with what I do, blah blah blah. I use a lot of preserved pieces, which means they are real plants, like things that were once living and live, like Italian ruscus, for example. And then it goes through this process of being preserved and it gets bleached and it gets dyed and then it lasts forever.
See, that's one of the reasons I'm like in love with the wreaths that you make.
Yes,
those
thank
last
you.
forever, right?
They do. Yeah. So I have a full line of what I call forever arrangements. So there are pieces that I make. They're custom. Everything I actually do is custom. So even if like you were to order for your best friend tomorrow, it would be a custom piece. It's not something I've made before. I have signature styles. So I have my tried and true like go-tos that are like, I guess those are my formulas, you know, but I still want to know, like, what's your friend like? Tell me about them. What's her favorite? Yes, her favorite color, but what's her favorite movie, her favorite song? Because like that explains so much about a person, right? Like your tastes in the arts and your preferences in general. So I love knowing those little nuances just so I can just infuse something that feels like a little different and special for each and every person, even when it's something that's standard. And then I just do fully customized ones where it's just like, you're not picking one of my styles. Like you just tell me something about the person or you send me a photo of your home, their home, and I just go to town doing my thing. And I often do a lot of preserved pieces, feathers, other like jewels and etc. So people are always so excited because once the flowers are dead, there's still like a cute little like bundle of stuff that you can make like your own little like bud vase with or something. It's so fun.
I have so many more questions about like your background and how you got into all this. But first, I think a fun thing to do would be, can you ask Tony the questions you would ask if like I was ordering something for him?
Oh my God, yeah.
And then can you tell us like what you would do for Tony? What you would
Yeah.
Okay.
So
go for it.
Tony's ordering for you.
No. I'm ordering for Tony.
You're gifting it to Tony?
No, you know what? Tony's ordering for himself.
Tony's ordering. Oh my God, Tony. Hi, baby. Tony, what's the occasion? And it can just be
Friday.
Guys. Friday. That's the other thing. There does not need to be an occasion to either send or get yourself flowers. It's just a really nice, lovely thing to do, says the florist. But
it's Tony's self-care.
I love it, Tony. It's Friday. Okay. What's been inspiring you lately?
Oh, boy. I feel like this is a dumb answer, but it's true. I moved in the last like month, and we've been working on the place a lot. So that's kind of been like my big focus for like the last month.
Okay, I love this. So then I would say, do you have a favorite little nook or something? Area, room, piece of furniture.
I don't know. I really liking it all. We our living room is definitely the highlight of the place, and we've made it kind of colorful.
Okay, I love it. So I would usually ask you to send me a photo because I think sometimes it's also hard for people to articulate their style and express stuff creatively. Like
you could have ended that at hard to articulate.
The end. I come from creative. I was a creative marketing executive. So to me, like I speak creative. So I'm just like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, not everybody can articulate what they like. So often I'm like, just send me a photo of your house. Because John's guilty of this. He's like, our house is shabby chic. I'm like, baby boy, I love you for knowing the term shabby chic. Our house is not shabby chic. So like that could really turn me in a wrong direction, honestly. So that's why I always ask, if you have a photo, send it. And if this is too much work for you, you don't have to tell me that. You just be like, my friend likes pink. And I'm like, cool, gotcha. Orange and yellow are her favorite color combinations. And I'll just like go to town. So we don't have to always make it so complicated. Right. But I like it. I think people appreciate it though, because it makes it feel like an actual thoughtful gift. Yeah. As opposed to like a last minute, shit, I forgot to get something. Send her flowers. Right. I never wanted my flowers to feel like an afterthought, like a scramble. Right. And I get scramble orders all the time. I got one before I came here, but it doesn't feel like a scramble.
Because it's so personal.
That's right.
Okay, so Tony's his colorful living room. Tony,
do you want to see a picture?
Oh my God, do you have one? Yeah. Tony, pull this up for me. Yes, I'm so excited.
I just feel we need the payoff of finding out
agree.
Like, what
Let's
you
do
would.
It.
What you just some thoughts of what you would do.
I absolutely I love this.
Give me a moment here.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you a little bit about Tony. So he's a drummer.
Yes.
Does podcasting stuff, hosts his own podcast called Bizarre Albums.
I love it. Oh, see, I even before this, I'm like, he's going to like color. And you do. You have color in here. It is really beautiful.
Thank you.
I would do for this based on what I have you guys here. It's, do like one of these. I don't know if maybe you can.
Ooh.
Right?
Nice. It's kind beautiful. Of mid-mod.
Yep. It's mid-century. You have some really beautiful, it's clean lines. So I would do something for you that's a little bit more clean and streamlined. I wouldn't do something overly whimsical for you. Definitely not, sir. We're clean.
Hell no.
Hell no. Clean, modern. I'd probably put it in some sort of like cool like cementish vase to pick up on. You've got like these grays and everything here. And then I would focus on the colors that you have, like your oranges and your turquoise. And I would play into those and maybe pull in, I don't even know if I'd pull in yellow. I think I'd maybe just stick with that. No, maybe a little yellow. Oh wait, there's yellow in the rug.
A little bit.
Slightly, like a muted yellow.
Yeah.
Like not bright.
That, yeah.
I don't love bright yellow.
No, me neither.
Oh my God. Can I tell?
Give me a headache.
Oh my God, me too. Somebody asked me the other day, they're like, what's the color you least arrange with? And I was like, yellow, 100% yellow. It's not even a question. Like, absolutely not, because it's a hard color to work with other colors.
Right.
It's very...
It's all, oh, look at me. I'm yellow.
It is all, look at me. And like, I get it. I appreciate it. Oh, look at me. But sometimes it's too contrasty.
Right.
And I like to blend a lot. That is one of the things about my work. There is some contrast there, but there's a lot of like blending and color gradient work happening there where things are playing off of each other. And then sometimes I love to throw in like a crazy pop. So like for yours, for example, I probably would have kept it within that color space. And then maybe if I had like a really great like chartreuse or something that would have played into whatever you have, just to do like one little accent, unexpected piece, just to be like, ooh, she's fun. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah. Or like, it would have been a good container for you, something from Jonathan Adler.
Oh,
if we had the budget.
Yes.
Jonathan Adler vase would have been really nice in there.
What is your personal favorite and least favorite colors?
Ooh,
not even necessarily relating to flowers.
Yeah, I would say my favorite. I mean, I'm in it right now. I think everybody always assumes it's pink, and I do. I love pink. Pink is neutral to me. It goes with everything.
Does Jackie Johnson know?
Does Jackie pink? Yes, girl. Actually, Jackie and I were just talking the other day about doing something custom in her house.
Oh,
so
cool.
yeah, getting her a little forever piece. Green. I love green. I love green in every form. And like chartreuse, I guess that's maybe getting into like the yellow green in that in between. Just green is so beautiful and luxe to me. And the thing that I love about it, it's the great color in nature, right? But then it's also like we have a velvet green couch. It's like the sexiest thing to me. I don't know. Maybe this comes from like my obsession with the Wizard of Oz and the Emerald City. This is honestly probably why I love green so much, if I have to really think about it.
I'm always drawn to the combination of green and white.
Oh, green and white's
I've always had this dream of like someday I'll have an entire green and white room or green and white bathroom.
It's so preppy.
Yes.
I love it. Do you remember she's still like Lily Pulitzer?
Yes.
A lot of green, white, and then pink usually thrown in there too with her. But yeah.
But it is so of a time to me.
Yeah.
Like I think I first probably fell in love with it when I was a kid. So it's like of the 80s.
80s.
I don't know that I could ever actually commit to it, but I think I'm like drawn. There's something like I'm like, yeah, there's like a nostalgic romanticism about a very green and white room.
I'm like, did you grow up anywhere where there was like a special like a restaurant or someone's house that had
I think that my mom's best friend Mimi had like a sitting room, or like a sunroom or something.
I'm not kidding you. This is why I was asking you, because I was a little like, what am I, psychic now? Because yes, yes, I am. No, that's my witchiness though. No, I do get these like weird things when I'm arranging for people. A lot of times I will just make something and then I get an email being like, my mother told me that if there was ever a purple bird, it was her coming back to tell me like everything's going to be okay. And I had like no idea. And I just included a purple bird in the arrangement. Stuff like that happens to me a lot. So like when you're saying that, I'm like, there's probably something from your childhood. And I'm thinking of like a sunroom, because I think that's also why I love green. My aunt's mother had an incredible sunroom and it was green carpet. And she had like these gorgeous green, like jade, elephant statues everywhere. And then inside of them, because they were like vases, she had all these like pearls and jewels and all this stuff.
Wow.
Oh, it was really fabulous. It was like super over the top. And I think I'm like, that's probably where my love of green is coming from.
Right.
So I'm like, there's probably something to your point that's comforting, that just, it's nostalgic.
And so, okay, so green's your favorite. And then is yellow your least favorite?
I would say yellow might be my least favorite. But see, you know what it is? I love yellow with certain things. I love wearing yellow. I don't like yellow in my house for decor, and I don't love yellow flowers unless they're like soft, like buttery.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite is orange, except like
they're
orange
close.
Flowers are, or when I think of orange, I just think of like the sun and I think of feeling sick.
You're like, ew, we hate the sun.
I'm not a big fan of the sun, personally.
Well, we're fair ladies. We have to be careful in the sun.
Yeah, it's just it's hot, it's sweaty, it's outside. I know it gives us sustenance and stuff, but
you're in the valley.
I know.
What?
What am I doing in Southern California?
I don't know. That's a daily struggle for you.
You really, you have no idea. You have no idea. Tony, favorite and least favorite colors?
as you guys were saying all this, I was thinking, I was like, if I am asked, I would say red, but at the same time, I don't really like I don't have anything red like in my home or anything like
Just
that.
your red pants.
Yeah.
They're kind of more of like a brownish red.
I did used to have some red ones though, but they passed away.
Oh, all right.
Oh no, what happened?
A terrible accident involving splitting.
Oh.
Oh, you split them?
Where?
In the crotchal area.
Oh, now you're just bragging. Get out of here, you. I split pants before. That's because of my ass, or actually my thighs. My thighs have split many a pants. Like in 7 jeans, like when 7s were super popular in like the early 2000s. I mean, I still wear them today, but it was such a coveted thing to get, and they were like $200, and I was making like $20,000 a year, and I was like, all I want is a pair of 7 jeans, and I can't even afford to eat. Jon gifted me a pair one year, and it was like the greatest gift ever. And then eventually, my thighs rubbing together too much. Cold war. I had them like reinforced like 5 times. So I was like, these are expensive. I can't give them up.
I was wearing a pair of jeans, and I was with my friend, and we were going to have dinner with this guy who I had a crush on, but he liked her, but I didn't know this. I just thought we were all friends. So anyway, she had a truck, and it was kind of like high up. And I remember I had to throw my leg up to get into it.
Yes.
And it's just like,
no.
Yeah. So then we were late because we stopped at like Kmart to buy patches or something, which I don't know how we thought this was going to somehow patch
Just
the
bought
jeans.
new pants when you're at Kmart at that point, right?
I didn't even think about that.
Oh my gosh, youth, man.
I know. And I think it was like Cheesecake Factory that we met him at, or like something, fancy like that.
Kmart and Cheesecake Factory in one night?
I know.
Girl, you're going
Tony,
crazy.
what's your least favorite color?
I would maybe can we count like brown?
Yeah,
Are we counting that in there?
Yeah.
We can
I
totally
guess,
count brown. I'm not a fan of brown either. But brown's probably my second
Least favorite?
Yeah, it's definitely brown.
Are you not into harvesty colors?
No, that's the thing, girl. I am a fall baby. I'm like, give me all the foliage. No, I'm like, no. See, that is the thing. I'm like, give me the browns or the orange. There's a time and a place for things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And every color deserves its time to shine. And every color deserves its time in a corner when it's not its time to shine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's just a certain time and place for all of them. I don't know.
You know what flower I like?
What?
I don't have a lot of opinions about flowers, but
tell
there
me.
is a flower I like, but I feel like it's a little bit controversial because Madonna was so anti-hydrangea, but I kind of like a hydrangea.
Okay. Was she really?
Yeah, she said there's like some, I think it's like a
Sorry.
it's okay. I think it might be like a viral clip where
Now I want to find this.
she's at a press conference and someone like hands her, Tony, can you look for this? Hands her hydrangeas and she's like, oh, I hate hydrangeas or
Oh my
something
God,
like that.
that's so
yeah.
funny. You know, I'm coming around on them. They're something that I know that I wouldn't work with a lot. You know,
Are they cheap or so? Why does everyone hate them?
you
What's
know,
going on? Do they steal your man? What do they do?
You know what it is? Let me tell you. They steal the water. Those little bitches do not like to share. So when they're in an arrangement or even in like a bucket with other flowers, they're like, no. Like they're really pissy. For me personally, because I do such structural things, it's too much of a big blob necessarily, right? Because I don't do stuff that's round. So for my design specifically, when I do them, I kind of like to do a bunch of them stacked. So I just posted something actually I don't know, when is this going to come out?
Monday.
Great, guys. It's not too far ago. I did the Party Down premiere for a star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I told you, I'm starting to have like a romance right now with hydrangeas and like learning to work with them in a way that I like. And I took, several bunches of them and I stacked them and I did this like cool shape with them. So I made them structural. So then it worked for my design. I think, they're not the most expensive. I wouldn't consider them a premium flower by any
Is it like I just said, you know what I like? Carnations?
No, can we? Oh my gosh, let's talk about carnations.
Let's get into it.
Let's talk about carnations. People have such like a hatred for them.
Yes.
And it's because they haven't been used properly.
Okay.
Right? They became this like sad fill. And when I say fill, not a good premium flower, not your star flower when you're getting something. They also got overly used in like the grocery store, and
Right.
I don't want to.
Yes, I feel like when you check into your room at the Holiday Inn, there's a single carnation.
There's like a single carnation, and like I don't know, like some people, I kind of love them for this, but like in high school or middle school, it's like associated with like who's going to send a carnation to somebody for like $1. Like I think they did it like in Mean Girls too. So like in high school, we did it in middle school. I love them so much, especially technology in all sorts of forms have come a long way. It applies to flowers. The industry over the past years, what they have done in terms of processing and being able to dye and color and tint these things is just wild. So carnations sometimes come in the most beautiful, beautiful hues and colors. I love an arrangement full of just carnations. I've done that before. It's really striking. They're also really hardy. They last forever. You're talking about water. I've had them like out of water for days and days and days and days, and they survive.
So do you feel that carnations have been besmirched?
Yeah, they have been. And I blame Sex in the City a little bit.
Oh, were they anti-carnation?
Oh my God. Yes. Remember Carrie Berger? She made it.
Yeah.
Yes. She made a comment about them. And then he went and he got her like when they broke up, like a massive arrangement, all of carnations. And she like threw it off the table. It's like so dramatic. And I was like, I blame Sex in the City because I think carnations in the 50s were considered a premium flower. They were like just as good as a rose. I think they're better than a rose personally because they last forever, and you can fluff them up. They're really beautiful.
How do you fluff them up?
You massage them. I massage a lot of my flowers. A peony, I massage those ladies. You want them to get open and fluffy. You know, a lot of times when you get stuff, it's tight, and that you want to like. Part of what we do, like what I do at least, is like I reflex and I massage and I spend time and I like
you stick your fingers right in the petals.
Oh, I get in the
petals.
I get in on there. This
I would
really
never.
graphic.
I would never think to do that.
Yeah,
like for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Like what just happened?
Yeah,
Daniel sent me flowers.
Oh, why? From who? Ew. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. What the fuck?
But what the fuck?
Yeah, what the
He's
fuck?
gonna get shit on the way out.
Okay. They didn't last very long. We were both talking about how they were like they arrived kind of wilty.
Oh no, they did. Well, so what happens is sometimes this has happened to me before where I've had people being like, "Oh my God, it happened to me twice at the very beginning when I was doing this, like at the very, 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 very beginning." And sometimes depending on the vase itself, I was using stuff that like it's shallow. So sometimes on the delivery, they lose the water.
Right.
And then, they get home and you, the recipient, shouldn't think like these need water, but they do sometimes. So every time you get flowers, you guys, please put water in them because stuff gets spilled. Your florist probably isn't the one delivering it. It left their house perfect, right? Because otherwise they wouldn't be sending it out to you. And then, shit happens on the way sometimes. It's not great.
But there were some that were like not open yet. And I was like, we just wait. I didn't know that I could get in there.
Yeah, you can get in there.
Massage.
You can massage. And sometimes,
so what do you do? Just like,
it depends on the flower. Like,
these
are
come here, flower.
So like a peony, when you get them, sometimes they're really tight and close. I literally go in and it's like giving yourself like a really good head massage. Like I literally, I do this. I like give them like a head massage basically.
And then they're just all,
and they're like, yes. And they're all like loosey-goosey.
It's so sensual.
It really, flowers are so sensual. That's why I call myself, what do I say? It's like a sexy ass floral boutique because they're sexy and they should be sexy. I mean, even when I do like a baby shower, the baby showers like kind of look sexy.
Baby shower.
I mean, how did babies get here, guys?
That's true. Well, I did IVF, but theoretically, I know exactly what you mean.
But like that's I know. Speaking of somebody that has gone through IVF, by the way, I know better. Yeah, I don't have children, but yes, I've been through the process. So they don't always come from sex, but technically, that's where they're
a nod to sex.
They're not. It's a nod to sex. Exactly.
Right. It's an illusion. It's an illusion to sex.
Exactly.
Did you find the hydrangea thing?
Yeah. I mean, you weren't trying to find a clip where you're just kind of what happened.
I thought perhaps one would come up.
I find articles saying that it was a press conference. A fan handed some to her.
It was a fan?
And she apparently took them and kind of smiled and said thank you and then quickly put them under the table and kind of like shot a look to the person next to her and said, I absolutely loathe hydrangeas.
Oh, I hope the fan didn't hear.
I'm sure they did because if I know this story.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple articles about
people,
it.
They know.
She did say after it, he obviously doesn't know that.
Of course not. She's the Weasley.
Wow, how magnanimous of her.
Seriously, I mean, also you got gifted flowers. Just be thankful.
Right.
No, I love her. She's like literally my queen. I love her so much. Madonna.
Who else are your queens?
Oh my God. Well, Gaga. That's why I really lost. I mean, like when Gaga was like I'm speechless even like talking about it still to this day. I'm like Gaga. Gaga. I mean, oh my God. I love Harry Styles. I did an arrangement for Harry Styles. I did an arrangement. Yes.
Did someone order it?
Yeah. Somebody ordered it and gifted it to him. And it was for his birthday. And then the Grammys were like a week later because that was like a Monday and the Grammys were like that following Sunday. His outfit that he wore to the red carpet, the sparkly one, matched the arrangement I made for him perfectly. Now, I don't want to say I influenced.
But you could have inspired.
But I could have inspired, or at the very least, my witchiness came through and I channeled it and I knew it. I did a side-by-side and it's crazy. Like it's spot on. It's nuts.
Wow.
I know.
That's so cool.
I know. There's a lot of people, a lot of fun people, I can't always talk about it, have received them. So
Oh yeah,
like Gaga, Madonna. I know.
Secret flower NDA situations.
I know,
right?
it's like for reals. Yeah, I'm like, Cher. Does anybody want to send some flowers to Cher?
I kind of wanted to introduce you as a florist to the stars.
I mean, a little bit. I mean, that's what my stepdad says, so I'll take it. Thanks, Normie. If Normie says it's true, then it's true.
Is there going to become a point where you can't do flowers for regular people anymore because you're only doing flowers for the stars?
I mean, I hope not. No, I that's the thing too. It's so funny. Like, I don't care who it's going to, like if it's Harry Styles or like Harry Smith, like that I don't know, like the same amount of love and attention and stress and detail goes into everything I make. That's the other thing too. When I make these, it takes me, not all of them, like the smaller ones I can get through pretty quickly, but I'm talking at least an hour and a half to 3 hours for some of these. Yeah, 3 hours is for some of my bigger pieces. And then that's just me building it. That's not me going to the market, sourcing everything, coming back home, cleaning everything. I mean, that's the other thing. People don't realize the amount of work. I mean, I'm not going to like lie right now. Like I had a breakdown today, like before coming here. No, it's okay. It's fine. I think we're all like having moments here and there. At least over in WeHo we are. It seems like all my neighbors were all like looking at each other like, are we all okay? What's happening? But because it's just like, it's a lot of
from being overwhelmed.
Yeah, just overwork. You know, the past few months have been freaking incredible. It has been nonstop since basically, I don't know. I did the Wednesday premiere for Netflix. It was phenomenal. Speaking of Queens, Tim Burton was my everything. So when I started this, I had several goals, and I was like, one is I just need one time to get my flowers in front of Tim Burton. I'm like, I don't care how that happened, just once. And then I got to do the Wednesday premiere. So that was that was pretty fantastic. Another one was The Housewives. I was like, one of the Housewives, it would just be so much fun. Somebody gifted Kyle Richards, so that was really fun. And then I'm like, the Oscars, I'm coming for you. I will be doing the Oscars at some point, everybody. That is like a main goal. But I'm in growing pains. It's you know what I mean? It's like we're in our apartment. I need a studio space. It's not cheap. We're in Los Angeles. I've been looking. It's stuff starting at like $4,000 a month for a studio space. And I'm just like, do you know how many flowers that takes? Do you know how many arrangements that is? So it's just me being like, oh my God, I spend all this time making all this beautiful, work for everybody. My house gets destroyed. I clean it up. Then it gets destroyed again. It's just like, it's constant, and it's just me. So we're trying to figure out like, what is the next phase here? Like, what are we doing? So yeah, it's a lot of work. It's so much work.
Yeah.
You got to love it. You don't
do
this.
Dream about flowers?
You know what? I don't actually. It's really funny. And I don't dream about them, but I will say this. When I'm traveling for too long and I haven't arranged, I miss it. It's really weird. Like I never miss I miss producing a trailer. No, like I do miss photo shoots. That I actually do miss, and traveling from my past life. But it's a really weird thing to be away from your job and actually miss it. Mm-hmm. I think because it's now I'm pursuing my passion. It's something that I, tucked away for nearly 20 years. So now that I finally get to do it when I'm not in it, I'm like, oh, I miss it. I want to get home and start arranging. Yeah,
so cool. Tony.
Yeah.
When you're touring with your rock band, do you miss this podcast?
Oh, it's all I think about.
That's all you talk about too, right?
That's why, the singing some backing vocals makes me feel a little bit, like I'm at the shows. There's a microphone. Right. That's really the reason I do some of the singing. Yeah.
How long have you gone without drumming? Like, was there ever a period of time where it was like if you're on vacation?
I go long periods of time.
And do you miss it?
Not really.
Interesting. Okay.
I've done it so much for my entire life.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I need it, but also I get it usually.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Are you just like anywhere you are? You're just like everything's a drum set to me. I don't care.
But you miss like playing live sometimes, right? Or because I know that when you first left me and went on some tour or something.
Wow. Let's talk about it, you guys.
No, this is it's an ongoing thing. I remember we were saying how it was like so good for your soul to be back out.
Yeah, like the actual
which
like
I took
performing.
So.
Yeah,
It's not good for your soul, Tony.
What are you saying?
But yeah, just the like performance side of it. Yeah, more so than like I enjoy playing with people in front of people more than just like playing in a room by myself.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I get that.
So you said you're from a big family.
Yeah, I am.
Where are you in the order of children?
I'm the eldest, which explains a lot about me. I was the only for about 5 years, and then my mom and dad had my second brother Derek, and then Chase after that. I love my brothers; they are just like my little baby boys so much. Part of the reason I was like, I don't need kids. I'm like, I have Derek and Chase, and they were the most like beautiful children ever, those two. I was not a cute kid. My mom is going to argue with that, but I was.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
No, I don't think I was very attractive when I was a kid. And my brothers were always so freaking cute. I'm like, I would never produce anything cuter than this. So I'm like, what's the point? Like, and now they have children, and their children are like bananas adorable. Like, and I'm not saying it because it's my family. If there were an ugly one, I would say there's a couple of them that are like, no, I'm like, they're all really cute. I don't know what happened. They did a really good job with their partners.
So you're the eldest of three.
I'm the eldest of three. And then, my parents grew up in Westchester County, both of them, and nobody really moved far from home. Mm-hmm. So my mom's from an Italian Portuguese family. So everybody was like living together on top of each other, basically. There was like a mother, like what do they call it? Like a sister-daughter house or something? Like my grandmother.
Like a mother-in-law?
Maybe. Like, I think it's called maybe mother-in-law.
Maybe there is something called a sister-mother house that I'm not aware of.
My great-grandfather, he was a mason, so he built his house. And then when my grandmother was, ready to move out and get married, he then built her a house on the property too. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like very sweet, and also like, oh my God, guys, please let's like spread our wings like a little bit. And then my dad's side, my mom's one of four, my dad's one of three. Everyone for the most part got married, had kids, so like lots of cousins and just everyone being local. So yeah, big families.
When you say that it explains so much about you, that you're the eldest, in what way?
Yeah, I think like that's such a great question. I'm like, I did say it, I think. And I'm like, because John's the eldest too. And I'm like, how do we differ at the house, or are we similar because of it? And I think it's like when you're the eldest and I was the only one for 5 years, 6 years, you just become like very independent in a different way. And I think a little bit more authoritative, because I then had these two little ones under me. My mother says it to this day, because my dad had a restaurant. She was just like, I couldn't have raised those kids without you, which is crazy. I mean, she was a young mom too. She was 20. My God, she had me at 22. I know, nuts to think about that now. But so she was like, and my dad, he was working all the time at the restaurant. So I think I'm a hustler. I'm super authoritative, I guess. I don't know where this is coming from. I'm like, I think it's because of the day I've had today, and I'm just like having a breakdown, and I'm like, I can't think of anything nice to say about myself.
Authoritative.
Isn't that terrible? Who am I right now? I'm usually so positive.
Authoritative doesn't have to be bad.
No, it doesn't.
Maybe
you're right.
What it means is you are decisive and efficient and comfortable in a leadership role.
Yes, that's what it is. I'm like a natural leader, basically. And I think that's from just being the eldest. And I had a lot of cousins, and just, I was, the first one. So I don't know. Yeah.
So what was your first career aspiration to be a florist? Like, is that what you wanted to be when you were young?
Oh my God, no. I wanted to be a pop star.
Oh, of course.
What? I wanted to be like a Madonna and like Tiffany and Debbie Gibson.
Yes. I had Electric Youth perfume.
You did? Wait a second. I didn't even know there was Electric Youth perfume.
Oh my God. Where have you been?
What?
You're younger than I am. Yeah, there was Electric Youth perfume.
Wait, what did it smell like? Heaven?
Tony, could you Google Electric Youth perfume?
Like, do you remember? Like, was it fruity? I feel like it was probably fruity.
It was. Okay, in the same way that I like hydrangeas, I'm sort of an easy mark for like drugstore perfumes.
Oh my gosh, really?
I mean, I don't wear them anymore, and I don't find myself smelling them. But I remember I had this perfume called Verve, but I thought it was pronounced Verve.
Of course it was. It is now.
And it was probably like, $12 from the version of CVS that was near our house. And I thought it smelled so good. And Verve smelled very like powdery and fresh.
Okay.
Electric
yes.
Youth was, I'm remembering now,
Yep.
it was fruity.
It was-
had a real
okay.
fruity
That's what
scent.
the internet says.
Yeah,
yes.
it feels like
Fruits, flowers, sweets, woods, and amber.
It actually sounds lovely.
It
Is it
was
still available for purchase? Or just like on
Probably
eBay?
On
Probably
eBay
smells
or
weird
something.
now.
Yeah. And then the first real perfume I had was, is it pronounced Anais? Anais?
Yes. Yeah, I think, yeah.
And I'd never loved that scent.
You know, perfume's a really tricky thing. I love scent. I think maybe it's part of being a florist. Although ironically, most flowers don't smell
Yeah.
at all. Honestly, when you're getting flowers, you're like, oh my God, it smells so good in here. It's usually the greenery that you're smelling. It's like the eucalyptus or whatever the greens are, which I actually don't use a lot of greenery. Because I just like the flowers, man. It's like, let those ladies shine.
Yeah.
So that's usually what we're smelling. But like, I love perfume. I like perfume. I like to change it up for the season.
Oh.
I wear different things depending on the season. And then if I'm going on a new trip or something that I'm like, this is going to be amazing and I want to remember this, I will buy a new scent for that trip. And then anytime I want to go back and remember it, I'll use that scent.
I love that.
No, listen
What
to
are some
me.
of your favorite perfumes?
Oh, I love, now I'm like, am I going to pronounce this right? Atelier. It's a French company. Beautiful shops if you ever are in Paris. I'm trying to think if they have any brick and mortars in the States. They're sold at Sephora. I think they do have some little. They're very like, it's very like cute and botanical, apothecary feeling. Really beautiful, deep colors of like rich royal blues and greens, and it's just like really like decadent and beautiful in there. Atelier is one of my favorites. I love. This is a brand called Lolia. It's something, I don't know. It's like Imagine something. She's got a really great, I like woodsy. I like not super sweet. I don't,
Where are you with like Le Labo?
okay, Le Labo, the most common, it's Santal, right? Everyone, I think every time I love the way someone smells, it's like, it's Santal. What is it? 30,
I think it's, is it Palo Santal?
Palo
No, Santal like 33.
33
maybe?
or something like that. It smells so good. I love it. I like anything that's kind of like leathery smelling too. It's like that the one that I have from Atelier, my favorite one, it's like, I think it's called like Carmela Intrepid or something. And it's got this really good like woodsy leathery smell to it. It's very like, it's rich smelling. I feel like an old rich lady when I'm not an old rich lady, but I feel like a
Yeah.
rich lady. Like it's like it's really nice.
I want to smell this rich lady.
I know you want it. You do. You want to smell. You
Yeah,
do. You do.
I need
And
to smell this.
I the first time I came across it, I was in Paris, and so now whenever I wear it, I think of Paris.
Were you there for work?
No, it was for fun. John and I went, God, I think twice. And then the last time I was there, so the last time I was in Europe was the February before everything shut down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I haven't been I've been out of the country, but I haven't been to Europe in a minute.
And this is also some intense gal chat.
Gal chat.
Perfectly executed.
Seamless.
Timing.
Your eyelashes are so long.
Oh my gosh,
What's
thank
going
you.
on?
Let's see. I like to layer and I use Chanel as my base. And then I go in, Chanel is probably not going to love to hear this. I take,
They do listen.
you
so-
ready? They do, they're big listeners. 10% off at Chanel. Use code Alice.
Right.
Sephora brand has this like volumizer and I just
Okay.
go over it. I was doing extensions prior to pandemic.
Really?
Yes, because I have long lashes, but they're just not thick and I'm fair. So, if I don't have my mascara on, they're not as prominent. And I like a nice prominent
Right.
lash. So I lacquer these
But
things.
this
You've
is
got
all
great lashes.
Oh, well, I have.
And a good cat eye.
I mean, thank you. These are some individual false lashes out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Thank you.
They don't, because I can tell a lot of the time.
I have decent lashes on my own. But I
Okay.
just do have a little bit of help on the outside.
No, they're amazing. And your little cat eye is perfect. Oh my God, you guys, can you see her?
Thank you.
Post a photo. Give us your eyeliner secret. Do you have a secret though for, because eyeliners, that is a thing, because that's liquid too, right?
Okay, so my whole life
Yeah.
I used cake liner with
Okay.
like an eyeliner sealant or water. And then how long ago? Maybe a couple of years ago, I started using a pen.
Yeah.
And it is 1,000 times easier.
So
It is
much-
so much. I did it like the vintage traditional way.
Yeah, you
for
did.
so long. And then now it's like 1,000 times easier to just use a pen. And it was actually guest Mary Catherine Ham who turned me on to Lorac.
Oh.
It's called like Front of the Line or something.
Never
and then
used.
They discontinued. Lorac is Carol backwards. They discontinued it.
Wait, can we talk about stop discontinuing our
stop
products?
discontinuing.
Stop it, everybody! Stop
I don't
it!
like it.
I don't like it either.
Tony, do you feel this way when they discontinue your favorite drumstick
Oh yeah.
or
Don't
your
get me
favorite
started.
snare head? But they have. So now I'm using a different Lorac one, which is I think it's called Front of the. Did I just said
Say
front of the line,
Pro.
right? But this one's like Front of the Line Pro.
It's good,
But it's still.
it's real good.
Yeah.
I mean,
then for a little while I was using Kat Von D tattoo liner.
yes, that's the one that I've used.
I like that one a lot, but I saw some video of myself and it was just like so black.
It was too, yeah.
It was a little too intense, actually.
You know what's really funny? I used to not wear black mascara because I used to think that was too harsh on me. I do use it now, but I used to only wear brown. But I feel like black eyeliner on me, it's too harsh. So I usually do like a softer brown. But like I love the way it looks on you though.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I love it.
I like because I have black hair and because of my complexion, I do like black, but I just found that one was a little too like inky.
Inky, okay.
Tattooey, I guess.
Who did I just buy the other? Charlotte Tilbury.
Oh, I don't have any of her stuff, even though I watch people apply it all the time on TikTok.
Oh yeah, she's a big TikTok. Okay, that makes sense. You know what? I don't have TikTok.
Oh,
I can't.
Oh, it's fun.
I know, but isn't it such a time suck?
Oh yeah.
See, that's
It's
why I
addictive,
can't.
too. Yeah, I go through phases. Like I'll be like, oh, I haven't even looked at TikTok for a few weeks, but then I'll get into it. But for me, it's like good escapism because the other social media platforms like Twitter or Instagram, I can be having I'll wake up, I'll look at Instagram, and then all of a sudden I'll be in a terrible mood, and I'll be like, what happened?
What is that? What do you think that is?
It's that I saw a picture of some guest that I wish I could get on my podcast that someone else had on their podcast. And then I started spiraling like, Hillary Clinton went on there. Why wouldn't she?
Yeah, right.
And it's like,
because I guess
just a downward. It's just a comparison.
Yeah. How do you think, because I'm not on TikTok. So what do you think? Do you think it's more self-promotion on Instagram? And that's what a lot of people,
So Instagram and Twitter, Twitter bothers a lot of people, but for me it doesn't really. I mean, because occasionally I will have some sort of like political back and forth with someone.
See,
I
that's
think
like, you want to avoid
for
that.
TikTok, I know.
Don't do that.
No, it gets you nowhere, and it just makes me angry.
Yes.
But it doesn't make me feel like I'm not measuring up. Instagram makes me feel like I'm not measuring up. TikTok, it's a lot of people that I don't know.
Yeah.
So
and it's fun, dumb content.
And
like,
it's also not. I mean, there are celebrities on there, but for the most part, it's just like regular creative people.
Yeah.
I think that's why it feels escapist versus Instagram. It's a chance for me to like see what my peers are doing that seems better than what I'm doing.
Yes, I agree. Instagram to me now feels like work. I've said this to people, like Instagram feels like my Outlook now or my Gmail in a sense, because a lot of my stuff, it starts there because understandably people don't DM for orders, email, but a lot of times people DM first because it's easy. And I totally understand that. I would probably do the same exact thing. So, so I'm constantly on there. But like, honestly, when I'm on there, I'm mostly focused on my stuff because it can be a dangerous spiral. Like social media
it's not great.
It's not great. It's not like, it's fun. I love using it as a business platform. It's been great for me because I don't have my website yet. I've been only using Instagram. So I'm like very like punk rock underground, like you got to know type of a thing. And so I'm very thankful for that, reason. And it's a great creative platform, right? Like it started with, photos and everyone just showing off like everything that's like beautiful in your life, basically. So I love it for that reason. But yeah, it can be, I mean, I go through it. I see florists that like, I love to pieces and I'm like, fuck, she got that. I wanted that. You know what I mean? But I'm like, good for her, but damn it. Like, I guess, yeah, it's good to take a time out for a minute if you're doing that a lot. I don't too much, but like it happens. We're human. You're going to see stuff and be like, shit, man.
But it is always an indication. Like if I'm feeling that, then it makes me go, okay, I need to look inward and
totally
figure out because it's obviously, it's like, yes, it can be triggered by a photo, but it's not really about that.
No, it's not about that at all.
Person.
No,
it's about something else.
It fuels me though. If anything, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be able to do that too then. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Like, let's dance. Like, I don't know. I'm different that way, I guess.
Good though.
With it, yeah.
Speaking of all this stuff, I want to tell you guys that Allison Rosen is Your New Best Friend is sponsored by BetterHelp. And this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. I am a huge believer in Are you Are you in therapy?
It's
very personal. to
no,
ask.
it's totally okay. I have been. I'm not currently, although probably could use some.
I feel like anyone who's open
we
to
all
it,
can.
and even
We all can.
people who aren't open to it would benefit from therapy. I've been in therapy a while.
I love it.
I credit my everything good in my life to going to therapy, and it just oftentimes stuff will happen during the week, and I'm like, I can't wait to get into therapy.
No, it feels really
Talk
good.
about this. Listen, you guys, getting to know yourself can be a lifelong process, especially because we're always growing and changing. Therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk through things. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge, which is great. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I'm committing to something, and what if it doesn't work out, et cetera. It just takes the anxiety out of it. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/bestfriend today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. HELP.com/bestfriend. So, how did you meet Jon?
Oh my God, that was a great read, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's not easy to do. Yeah, okay, you're welcome. We met in college. We had class together. I was already seated, and we were in Dr. Ginny Kindred's class. It was I think it was comm principles, and he walked in and he was wearing, speaking of colors we don't like, orange. He was wearing this really bright hand knit orange sweater that had a giant daisy on the back of it. And I just remember him walking in and being like, oh God, this is trouble. Like, I just knew like immediately.
Was this your first year?
Yeah, it was my second year.
Okay.
He was there. He was there from the beginning, from freshman year. I was at a different college, and I transferred over my sophomore year. So, he was already, Jon Gabrus on campus. Like, it was just, and I just wasn't privy to it yet. I soon came to be very aware of what he was and what he was like. And I was just like smitten kitten, and we were best friends, and we had classes together. And, he's always like, he's like, not that I'm not smart, but hard worker. Like, I was really diligent in college because I was lazy in high school. And then I realized in college, I'll never forget my first film. And I took film, and I was, in high school, and I took a film class, my freshman year, and I'll never forget, I failed it miserably. And I was like, oh, you have to study in college? I'm like, this is very different. So he was like, you study a lot, you're hot, I'm going to be on your team. Like, you're with everything, basically. And I was like, okay, cool. I mean, he didn't say that to me, but I knew that's what was going on. And he was like funny and charming and adorable. So I was like, yeah, let's do this thing. So we were really good friends for like a year and a half before we started dating.
And did you have a crush on him the whole time?
I did. Like, not the whole, no, yeah, probably the whole time. Yeah, definitely the whole time. I'm trying to be PC right now. I don't know why. Because I was with somebody else, but who cares? It was 20 years ago. No, who gives a shit? Brian knows. Hi, Brian. He's married and has two beautiful children. But yeah, it was just like one of those things where I'm just like, when it's your person, and it was just like, it was one of those things. I'm like, this is my person. Like, I knew it like right away. And my mom, the first time she met him, and my dad too, but my mom met him first. She was like, oh, you met your match. I'm like, oh, I did. But she meant like someone that's going to challenge you.
Oh, okay.
And going back to like being like, when I was talking about like being the firstborn and like what you're just like, you're headstrong. You're just like, you're really independent. You're different. I love my brothers, but I look at what the middle one's like and what the younger one's like, and we're all very different. And it's because of, I think, where we fell, and what our parents' relationships like were at that time, et cetera. So, we're very similar, and we're very different. So it's like, when it works, it's really good. But him and I, we can butt heads too, because of that.
So was he in a relationship when you guys met too?
He was, yeah. He was dating somebody else, and she was attendee she was a student at school too.
Oh wow.
I didn't really know her, but I knew her friends because we had class together, and all of her friends loved me. It was really funny because like when we started dating, he was like, all of JoJo's friends like love you, so it's fine. And I'm like, well, I wasn't worried. Like, what's gonna happen? You're gonna beat me up? Like, no, this is not a thing. Like, worried. No.
So how did it go from friendship to more?
It was gradually like over time. And then it's just like one of those things where it's like there's clearly a very deep connection and physical attraction too. It's going just beyond like friendship, and like I want to like make out with this person so bad, So I had to end my relationship because I was like, we're not going to do that. I mean, it was an emotional affair. It was an emotional affair at the age of like 21. It's so ridiculous. We were such children then. So yeah, it just like, it was conversations, and it was like, okay, let's do this thing. But the funny part was I had broken up with my boyfriend at the time.
Brian?
Brian. Sorry, Ryan. On John's 21st birthday. And I didn't want to tell John because, turning 21 was like a very big deal in college. I didn't drink at the time, but he did. He was like our Van Wilder, basically. He was a nightmare. He's so different now in many, many better ways. But like he was a fun handful when he was younger. And, he was out and he did like 21 shots, discussing. This is on top of drinking copious amounts of, beer and everything else. And he just started making out literally with everybody in the bar. I mean, his roommates, my roommates. And it wasn't like sexy making out. Like he was disgusting and like licking people's faces. My friends were like, oh my God, gross. And they were all like, he didn't come near me though. He wouldn't dare because he knew he wouldn't do that. And later that night when he got home, he called me.
Wasted?
Yeah, just wasted. And he's like, I just wanted to call you. And then he told me that he loved me, which was very sweet while he was drunk. I know, it was really sweet. And he didn't know that
you broken up with
that I had broken up with my boyfriend. And I didn't tell him that still even that night. So when we talked the next morning, I was like, do you remember what you said to me? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, you told me that you loved me. And he's like, I did. And I do. I'm like, it's really sweet. I'm like, I didn't want to tell you this last night because it was your 21st birthday. I'm like, but last night was my first night of being single. He was like, wait, what? He's like, I'm going to call you back. He hung up the phone and he was like going around my room. And he's like, what is wrong with me? What did I do? Da, 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 da. And then he called me back. I was like, no, I don't care. Like, that's why I didn't tell you. I wanted you to be like a maniac and have fun. I didn't want you to be like, feeling like you had to behave because all of a sudden I was single and available. I was like, no, go be nuts. And that was one of his last nuts nights that I know about at least.
This is so sweet.
Yeah,
what a sweet story. But also,
it's sweet.
But also, that's very. I don't know what the right word. I don't know what word I'm going for. So
simple.
No,
like,
that's not
simple.
That's very word here of you. Considerate, I guess, but more than considerate.
Selfless? Oh, you're talking about me not telling him. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
To think like, oh, I want him to have, because I keep thinking like, but why would it have ruined his birthday to know?
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying. You wanted him to just go have his whatever.
I wanted him to be
do.
like a freaky deaky drunk boy and not have to worry about like, oh my God, I don't want to get too wasted tonight because I don't want to make an ass in front of her now.
Right.
Because it's now it is a different dynamic.
Yeah.
She's available. Like, you know what I mean? This is game on. So I didn't want to ruin it for him.
Have you guys been together ever since?
Yeah, we have. We've never even broken up.
Wow.
I know, it's so crazy.
Wow.
I mean, we want to like murder each other sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're New Yorkers, we're Italian, like we're feisty, you know? But at the end of the day, like we have a really good marriage. Like we do.
When you guys do want to murder each other, like what is it over?
You know, our thing, it's ironically, it's communication, not understanding the other one. And I think
feel like that's what it is for everyone.
It is. And I think, you know, the older we get, the more I've realized like we're settling into ourselves. And, you know, I think we're just not that we're different people, but like I think sometimes it's the things from our parents that like we've learned and we picked up are shining through with each of us now. And there's conflict with that, or it's just like, well, I wasn't raised that way, so this doesn't feel right to me. Like, you know, so this is weird. I don't know. It's just like that's starting. I don't know. It's maybe because like we're older now. I don't know. We're both 41. Right. Yeah. He turned 41 too. And it's just, maybe it's over that stuff, or it's usually a communication thing. It's like, why are you being a dick? And it's like, oh, I wasn't being a dick. And it's like, oh, you just completely took my tone wrong. It's usually a tone thing with us, honestly, you know, and we're like, we can be ball busters, you know? So it's like, sometimes it's like, oh, that was that. Did we push it too far? Like, it's mostly on him, not me. The pushing it too far with that. But I'm a pain in the ass though. I have a huge blast radius. I've taken over the apartment, you know, there's like a lot going on.
Wait, what do you mean you have a huge blast radius?
I mean, like, I'm just like, I'm a big person. I mean, he's a big personality too. It's really funny. Someone from the UCB was telling me that another comedian was like, did she ever get a word in edgewise in that house? And this Marcy was like, do you know her? You know, it's fine. So we're just like, we got two big personalities, you know, but like we're pretty good at compromising and coming together and I don't know, figuring shit out.
So when you had your entertainment. So you were in marketing at different streamers, right?
Yeah,
Different channels?
I was at Stars was like my first. I was at New Line Cinema I interned there and then had a job there, got laid off. Then I got really fortunate and someone that I'd worked with there went to AMC. And this is when Mad Men and Breaking Bad had just started. Yeah, like seasons 1, like no one was even watching them yet. So I got the job there and that's like where I got my little marketing like booties on and learned how to become a marketer basically. And I was there for about 5 years. And then we were like, it's time to move to Los Angeles because this was all in New York. And then when I was moving out here, someone that I worked with at Stars at AMC was going to be the VP of marketing at Stars. So I was like, yo, Allie, your girl's moving out. What do you got for me? She's like, you got a job. I was like, perfect.
Oh,
so it was really, really nice. So, when we came out here because, Jon being a comedian, it's like, who knows what's going to happen. So it was like, I had a job. So it was a really nice transition. And I was there for a while. And then, I left and then I went to Netflix and I was at Netflix for almost 3 years.
Doing the same kind of stuff?
Yeah, doing the same kind of stuff. So yeah, creative marketing.
Which means like you mentioned the billboards, but also like sort of the way that the ads look. Is that
it like is? Literally everything. So when you're seeing a commercial on television, like I would work with my agencies, like trailer houses to work on those trailers. You see those ads right down to like picking out the song that was being used in it, editing it, really like being like involved, really being a creative director. I'm not an editor. I can't edit myself. So we hire people. And also I'm not going to know the best things to do. This is why you hire these experts, but you are the orchestrator of these things. These are your campaigns. So, right down to, the art, social media, running the social media accounts. Wow. If there were partnerships, if there were events, I mean, like I've done it all, baby. And then pandemic like did a number on me.
That's what I was going to ask. At what point in that career?
Yeah.
Were you like, I'm not sure this is what I want to be doing?
It's really funny. Even when I was at Stars and I was really still enjoying myself, because, you start to get bored after a while. You're like, how many fucking trailers am I going to cut? You know what I mean? We'd always be like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And I would say, I just want a flower truck. I'm like, I just want a flower truck. I want to drive around in it and I want to just sell little bouquets, da-da-da-da-da. And then over pandemic, sitting at a desk for like literally, I'd be at a desk for like 18 hours a day, like working on it. It was bad. It was really bad. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm like,
your desk at your house,
like literally my desk
remotely?
Working remotely. I mean, even when when you're at the office, it was still like really intense hours. It was a lot. It just became like soul sucking after a while. And when you're working on creative and you're giving all of your creative to somebody else, and not everyone's always appreciative, and that stings obviously, but like whatever. It just got to the point where I'm like, why am I doing this for everybody else? I'm like, when's my time? Like, when is it my time to do what I want to do? And it was kind of like now or never, basically, is how I felt. I'm like, you're turning 40. When do you make that career switch? You look around, we'd all talk about this in marketing, and it's like, look around at our peers, like you're kind of tapping out around like 45 unless you're, super EVP and you're, completely over everything, because you burn out. It's really, I mean, it's a stupid job. It's marketing, but it's intense. It's a lot of hours. You burn out. So it was just one of those things where I'm like, I'm done here. Like, I'm bored. I had always wanted to go to HBO, and when someone was like, do you want to go to HBO? And I was like, no. I couldn't believe that. I was like, I don't want to go to HBO. I'm like, I'm done with marketing. This is really, really weird. I'm like, okay, it's time. It's time. So I just emailed friends on a Valentine's Day weekend 2 years ago, and I was like, guys, I think I'm gonna do this thing. Who wants flowers? I was like, $100. I can't believe how little I was charging. And I know $100 to people might sound like a lot. It's not. Like, it's the cost. When I make one of my larger arrangements, I have to pray that there's other orders coming in, because I'm spending at least $300 out of pocket of my money to make it. And if I'm only charging you $300 and I've already spent $300, that's not my time. That's not the other materials that are going into it. So that's why you have to be careful with profit and paying attention to this stuff. So yeah, I had a really great weekend. I had I think 15 orders that went out, and then I left Netflix that Tuesday, and I had deliveries going out that Friday.
Wow.
And then here we are 2 years later. I got really, my friends were very supportive everywhere, and it just became like a word of mouth thing. And I used my marketing skills. Like, there were certain things that I did, like grassroots wise, like, low hanging fruit, as we would say, that I knew what I had to do.
What is low-hanging fruit?
Oh my God. It's like the easiest stuff. And it's like the easiest, like low-hanging fruit. So the easiest stuff to pick and to get at, you know?
But like in this context, how do you mean it?
I mean, the easiest thing for me at first was I was like, guys, can I tag you? And can you repost when I do this, basically? I'm like, that's all I need to do because that's the cheapest, easiest, quickest form of advertising. And, you know, our network and our world, why we're very fortunate, we have friends that have very large followings and that we're very supportive, and bless the comedy community. They really helped, and bless everyone that I worked with at Netflix and Stars and every place else. I mean, it really was friends and, you know, outside friends that really helped this become what it's, whatever the hell this is. I don't know what I'm doing yet, guys. I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm having fun. Follow along. It's been, I mean, I know I talked about crying today, but it's like, it's a good problem to have. It's like, I'm growing. How do you grow?
Like you're blowing up.
Like, you know, I don't want to say I'm blowing up because it's like, you know, it's not like the phone's constantly ringing. I'm hustling. I'm going out to people. I'm like, yo, you have this premiere going on. I'm using my contacts.
Oh, so you pitch yourself?
Oh, hell yes. You have to, everybody, be your number one promoter with everything you do.
I thought.
Yes. Not everything.
I assumed they were coming to you.
Some people are. Some Netflix, for example. I have no shame in talking about this. I don't have an NDA. We can talk about it. I was originally working on Wednesday when I was working there. I was on the creative team for it, so I knew the person working on it. So I'd reached out to her and I was like, "Hey, can we just send like Tim and Jenna like arrangements just to be like, congratulations, it's premiering?" She's like, we can't. They're traveling, whatever. She's like, but I think we're doing a premiere. You should email Katie, who is someone that I had worked with there, and just be like, what's up? Are you guys doing a premiere? And I was like, Katie, are you guys doing a premiere by any chance? And do you need florals? She's like, oh my God, I've been dying to work with you. I didn't know you wanted to do premieres. Let's go. It's yours. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, that's it? She's like, yeah, I'm putting in touch with the agency. And I was like, oh my God. Because for me, I never wanted to reach out to my contacts until I knew I had the goods. I needed to build that portfolio. I mean, the last 2 years, I've made like not a lot of money myself because I've been investing into the business. If you gave me a $10,000 budget for your wedding, I maybe took home like $500 out of that because it went towards your flowers and it went towards my team. Like when I tell you I've been making peanuts because I'm like, I need my portfolio to be built. I need to show people I can do this. I never want it to feel like a favor. So, you know, the Netflix thing, and then other things have started coming in. Now there's been other stuff where I'm like, oh, I want to do that. So I have no shame.
Oh no.
Oh God, no.
It's I don't think it's shameful.
No, it's not. No, I tell everybody that. I'm like, you have to be your number one. No matter what you do in this life, you have to be your number one publicist and your number one marketer. You do. Because no one's going to look out for you the way you're going to look out for you. Yeah. Hear that, everybody? Okay. It's your free advice for the day.
Do you happen to have a Just Me or Everyone?
Ooh.
We have a little song if you do have one. Let's hear the song.
Yeah, let's hear. Yeah, go ahead.
Sometimes I ponder on something I have thought or done. Is it just me or everyone?
All right. Do you happen to have one?
I mean, I have one, but I feel like I'm maybe not alone.
That's okay.
But I get really...
We'll find out.
Okay, let's do it. Is it me or is it like I really cannot stand it when someone does not hold the door open?
Oh.
For... is not paying attention to what's happening right behind them. And I'm like, is it just me or am I just expecting everyone to be too polite? Am I expecting too much from everybody? I don't know.
I appreciate when someone holds a door. Right? I don't know that I hate it, but I do feel like let's ask the Tony in the room. Like you hear guys say things, which always strikes me as disingenuous, but like, I don't even know what to do. Like, is it okay to even hold the door open for a lady now?
I roll.
Do you feel that? Do you feel like some woman's going to knee you in the balls for holding a door for her?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I try to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I even mean like when you're walking through and you just like let it slam behind you and you're like, hi, I was like right here. Just be aware of the fact that like there might just be someone coming in right behind you.
Just like situational.
Yeah. Just situation. Yeah. It's like that.
I find people in general, I'm amazed at how oblivious most people are.
You know what? And that's
just
what it is.
To their surroundings in general.
And
it drives me nuts.
I think pandemic made it even worse. Mm-hmm. I think I'm guilty of it too. I for sure. And like, we all were just in our own little bubbles for so long and reemerging. It's like, not everyone knows how to behave and act and not as considerate because you're only thinking about yourself for so long. You weren't around other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's interesting how quickly our social skills can just like atrophy.
Yes, it's so true. Like my patience are they're really thin. And I think it was really because of not having to be around people for so long and just like reemerging into the world. And I'm like, God, there are so many inconsiderate people out here. This is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have some questions that listeners sent on Patreon.
Patreon.
When we ask, they send them in. They're wondering how you have been. So thanks so much for answering these questions from our fans.
Okay, so I am on Patreon, patreon.com/AllisonRosen. All sorts of fun bonus stuff, behind the scenes content, outtakes, things where I messed up and I said, Tony, take that out, please. Like just happened a moment ago. And bonus episodes of The Friend Zone. That is my Patreon podcast. And a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. And you can submit questions for my guest. Okay. Well, Karen Quinn wants to know, I'm so excited for this interview. How difficult was it to completely change your career path?
I mean, honestly, very and also very easy at the same time. It was just one of those things. I was at a breaking point, and it's usually where I get with stuff. I'm a very patient person. I'm a Scorpio. It's part of our nature, I think, just to be patient because we're pretty tough. We have that exoskeleton. But I just reached a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. And it's like, if this doesn't happen, I don't know what I'm going to become a puddle. I'm not going to be myself anymore. I lost myself a lot, you know, my personality and a lot of stuff just from being in corporate America for so long.
Right.
So, you know what? It wasn't. And it's, I mean, you'll hear this. It was an easy transition to get into it, but it's no joke being your own boss and running your own business. It's a lot. So it's both easy and hard. Is that helpful?
Were you, okay, here's a question. Were you easier or harder to be around at like the end of your corporate career or the beginning of your floral career?
I mean, we'd have to call my husband and ask him for that. I was two different people. I'm not going to lie. I was in a not great place when I was heading out of corporate America. I was dealing with a lot of like anxiety and depression, just being like, if I leave this, what am I going to do?
Right.
Like, am I going to end up on the street? Like, I made
a whole identity.
It's a whole identity thing, and I made really good money. I was an executive, you know. I walked away from a very nice salary, benefits. It's still to this day. It's like, what did you do? Sometimes it's like, oh my God. But I was dying inside. I had to do it. What was the original question though? Sorry, did I answer?
Was it difficult to change your career path?
No, I mean, no. And I think it's too because it was something that I was passionate about. And I was so blessed. People were so supportive right away. I couldn't have done it without the support of everybody. I truly couldn't have.
It's very inspirational.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, Liz Crow. Liz Crow has a lengthy question.
All right, let's go, Liz Crow.
I often find myself in the grocery store willing to buy a mixed bouquet or a dozen roses with the idea that I'm going to do something nice for myself when I get home. But then I'm at a loss about how to display them in a pleasing way. I guess I'm happiest when I split up the bouquet and cut the stems really short to put, this is crazy, to put little bud vases all around the house, but I feel guilty cutting them short, especially long stem roses. I'm looking for suggestions for arranging grocery store flowers to please myself on an ordinary weekend. And then second related question. How do I get over my fear of arranging flowers in a shallow bowl-like vessel? I have never used a flower frog or foam or chicken wire, and it's all very overwhelming. Where do I start with this? What am I looking for in a shallow vessel?
Oh my God, I love her. First of all, yes, queen, buy yourself those flowers. It is a really nice thing to do to treat yourself, even if it is from the grocery store. Trader Joe's, like they have great stuff. Like utilize it. Yes, if you get a bouquet, usually I would say take it apart. I love that you're doing that and doing the buds. Do not feel guilty about cutting them shorter. Arrange it to how your heart desires, you know. Things are considered more expensive when they're taller only because it requires more flowers to get filled when you're making an arrangement.
Oh.
But like the price is still the same. Yeah. I mean, actually, that's not true. Longer stem roses do cost us more money for various reasons, but do not feel guilty. You cut those things down to whatever you want them to be. And then in terms of arranging in a shallow dish, I hear you. You should probably start with something that doesn't have that wide of a mouth. Flower frogs are really great. They're very.
What is a flower? Is that the foam stuff?
No, foam is foam. A lot of florists don't. I have like oh God, we all have our opinions on foam. It's not good for the environment. It's really bad for the environment because it doesn't break down. But sometimes depending on like the structure, it is the best thing to contain and hold something, especially if you're new to designing. Because yes, working with chicken wire, I mostly do everything with chicken wire. Also because the flowers get the water directly, the flowers, directly from the water rather than going through this fake spongy thing that's kind of absorbed water. So they will last longer not in the foam. And flower frogs are great. They are these metal things. There's all different kinds. There's ones that have like little spikes on the bottom. There are ones that are almost like they're like hairpins. They're very expensive, very expensive. They're probably like $45 to $60 a piece because they're evergreen. Invest in one if it's something fun to do. I would say start with I would say probably foam might be the easiest thing, but then if you're going to use foam, I hate recommending foam. You want to use stuff that has a sturdier stem. So you're not going to use a ranuncula because they have a delicate stem, or like a tulip. They're not going to go through roses, mums, anything that's like snappy. It feels like a branch. That's decent for foam for you to start. But then eventually you're going to want to get to chicken wire. You're going to want to really just any kind of chicken wire, and you ball it up. Don't ball it up too hard because you want to be able to, what's the thing, their little whatever the phobia is, because you have all these right?
The tryptophobia.
Whatever it is. But like, yeah, you want to squeeze it down so the holes, the so openings.
You can still get the stem in.
You can still get the stem in. Yeah. But you don't want it to be too tight. I struggle with it. It's one of the things I struggle with. If I were in an interview and I were to go somewhere and they're like, what are your strengths and weaknesses as a florist? I'm like, I can never fucking get the chicken wire right on the first time. I can't. It's just something you have to play with.
Is it uncomfortable to work with?
Sometimes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm covered in cuts and bruises. Okay. I mean, it's bad. Like, cause I'm constantly bumping into stuff, cutting things, burning myself on candles when I'm doing tablescapes for places. I mean, it's a really dangerous job, you guys.
You're on the front lines.
But somebody's got to do it.
I understand that you're on the front lines. Okay. Let's see here.
But I'm proud of her. Keep it up, Mama. Keep it up. I'll be doing online workshops too at some point this year.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing some in-person stuff, but I'm going to eventually offer some virtual classes. So I'll teach you how to do all that.
Well, this question kind of goes right into that. Lisa Murphy Tate, how did she learn floral design? Both my mom and grandmother did floral design. Neither had any training per se. It just boggles my mind. Tiffany has some gorgeous work on her Insta.
Oh my God. Thank you, girl. I appreciate that. Ironically, my grandmother actually was a florist.
Oh.
It was something she got into later in life. And I used to love going to the shop. I used to just love going to flower shops in general when I was a kid. I mentioned my dad had a restaurant. I would work there sometimes. I'd get like little tips, and I would take all that money and I'd go to the flower shop next door, and I would buy like stuffed animals or like flowers for myself. I just loved it because it was like gift giving. But I think it's just one of those things, because it became my hobby. I just paid attention to like what I was doing. I think, and when I say I was paying attention to what I was doing, when I would make something, I would sit back and I'd analyze it, and it'd be like, what do I like about this? What do I not like about this? Both those things are very important. And as I started to do that, that's how I started to develop my own style. A lot of my stuff, it's kind of, I call it like perfectly imperfect. Sometimes it's asymmetrical, but it's asymmetrical on purpose. I want there to be like one branch going way off to the side and something drooping down on the other. It's very purposeful what I do. I think for anybody if you're getting into this, it's just start picking up stuff. Start with like getting a good color variety and texture. That stuff matters, and then just start playing, and then pay attention to what you like and what you don't like. When you're seeing somebody else's work, what do you like about it? What don't you like about it? And then you can start to apply that to what you're doing. I think one of the hardest things, though, going back to the previous question, is the mechanics, right? And that is where it becomes really tricky for people. It's like, well, how do you build this thing? And, you have to have the mechanics for it, whether that is your chicken wire, your tape. I don't use tape. I know florists that tape the top. I feel that that's too limiting, because you're working within this like weird grid on top of your container. So it's not a personal preference for mine, but that's something else you can do.
So wait, they make like a tape lattice
on the top? Tape lattice on the top, that's essentially. Weird. Yeah. It's like, it reminds me of like, remember when people used to get highlights back in the 50s?
Yes,
and they put the cap?
Do the cap, yeah.
Yes. So just start. If it's in you. I mean, it's just a thing. It's just like, that's my art form. I don't know. It's what ended up speaking to me.
Are you constantly like assessing the flowers around you? Like if you go somewhere and there's these arrangements.
Yeah, I'm a nightmare. Oh my God. I'll be at a dinner, and like if we're at a table and I'm like, why didn't they reflex these roses? And I'll sit there and I'll like John's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I can't help myself.
Have you ever done, this is a dark question.
Yeah.
Have you ever done funeral flowers?
I actually, I've not done a full funeral, but I had somebody I did a casket splay, which I have not posted yet, and I have full permission to post it because I always ask if I can tag people or posting it. This woman, her mother had passed away, and she's like, my mother loves color and vibrant. She like would have loved your work. Can you create something permanent? So I did. They wanted a cross. So, and hydrangea, I used preserved hydrangea. It's really beautiful. I've not posted it, and her mother had a pink casket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really fabulous. And they actually, and I love this because
A pink casket.
and they did the services at their home. They had this gorgeous, beautiful home, and they had her like outside overlooking these like the valleys, and it was really stunning. I'll have to post it. I would love to do funeral because I think a funeral should be a celebration of life. My father passed away, and when I planned his funeral, that's what I did. I'm like, this was sad enough dealing with him going through cancer. I'm like, let's celebrate him now. So I feel like I want to own like I would love to own a funeral home. I'd make it so fun.
You would.
It would be so fun.
It'd be colorful and
It'd be
fun.
so colorful and fun, and we'd have like champagne upon arrival. And
Was
I
that
don't know.
hard? Well,
Planning
first of
my
all,
dad's?
Yeah. How did it fall to you, the planning of it, and was it hard?
my parents, my mother helped. My parents were divorced at this point in time. So
Because you're the oldest.
because I'm the oldest, that's why. No, seriously. Even though my dad made my brother the main beneficiary because he was the one at home, and I give him shit for it all the time. Or not the main benefit, whatever he is. No, it really was fine. But I love to give him shit for it. I can't think of the executor. He was the executor.
Oh, okay.
I was like, he's the He's like, he lives here. We're on the same time zone.
Yeah.
He takes me to the hospital every day because he was going through like chemo. I'm like, no, I get it. It's like no harm, no foul at all. My family, we've always talked about death. It's my dad would love going off about it. I've been told since I was 5 that he was going to pass away before he was 60. He did.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he did.
Kept his word.
He kept his word. That man kept his word. 59, he passed away. Yeah, he was like weeks away from.
too young.
It is way, way, way too young. Way too. Yeah, and it's freaky. Like I'm 41. I'm like, God, that's only like 18 years off. Like I don't like hearing that. My mom's side, they live really long, so I'm like, that's me, right? Those genes, please. So I don't know. I think because I come from marketing and doing events, I looked at it like I was throwing an event.
Right.
Honestly, I did. We had alcohol there. We weren't supposed to, but we talked to the funeral home, and they're like, what are you talking about? Just do and don't tell us. We're like, great. It was really fun. I had Beatles music playing, like really happy, fun flowers. I worked with my local florist who did my wedding as well because I was back home in Westchester. Yeah, it was sad and shitty, but it was also like, no, let's celebrate him. My brothers and I, he was cremated, so we arrived to the procession and everything in his motorcycle, and he had a sidecar because he ended up putting a sidecar on it because he was so afraid about tipping the motorcycle because he ended up getting cancer went into his bones, and he's like, I can't break anything. And I'm like, I don't think you should even be riding a bike,
Right.
But I think it was his like last desperate attempt to feel like he still could for some reason, and so it was really nice. So the three of us got to ride it because one brother rode, I sat behind the other one, and then the third one was in the sidecar with the ashes. It was really
that's sweet.
It was really great. It was really nice. Yeah,
I keep thinking about this pink casket.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was fabulous.
Woman who died? It was a woman who died, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you said that. Had she chosen the pink, or did they choose the pink for her?
You know what? It's a really sad story. Actually, she had gotten diagnosed with cancer, and she'd passed away within like 6 weeks or something.
Oh
It was
God.
really, really fast. I know. Awful. I think it was maybe 6 months. I feel like it's 6 weeks though for some reason. So I'm not sure, but she
fast.
was. When kids like know their parents and there's like that good, like they knew their mom, they were friends with her. So that's a great question, but I'm sure it's something she 1000 would have picked out for herself.
Yeah. Oh no, I wasn't suggesting. I wasn't suggesting that it's the wrong final resting place for her. I was just like, was she like, did she know,
Because I think about it though, because I'm like, I don't have a living will. I'm like, I want that to be done up right. Because I want it to be a party. No one better be crying. I better have the best flowers there.
course,
I'm like, I'm like, I want this to be a celebration of life. Like, please don't make this sad.
Okay. Sam Randall says, I love her floral designs so much. They are next level. And her whole Instagram is just such a happy and bright spot. Has she always been a positive person? How does she stay positive, or what helps her cope?
Oh my God. As I'm saying, I was screaming and crying before coming here today. I love it. No, I am. You know what? I am at the end of the day positive because my mother's really positive. I think, you're raised by people like that. It comes part of you. I just think it's really easy to be negative. It really is. And it's really easy to focus on like, what am I not what's not going right, what's not this, what's not that. Because I just think I don't know, for me, it's the easier way to go. So I have to fight through it myself to be like, no, at the end of the day, things are going to work out. Like, this is just a momentary phase. This is just a bump in the road. Like, we all are going to have those. And I think if you just like look at the bigger picture with stuff, I don't know, that's what helps me, at least, just being like today, like what I'm going through right now with the business, honestly, I'm like, this is really frustrating. And I can't wait till I have my sick ass shop in like 3 years from now. And I'm like laughing at this girl of being like, oh my God, you were worried about this, because I know it's temporary, you know, but allow yourself to feel those things. Be upset, be fucking raging out if you need to. I'm cursing so much today.
Fine.
This is fine. Okay,
that's totally fine.
Okay, great. You know, like feel those feels, but at the end of the day, I just feel like living in negativity is just like, it's a bad place and it's an easy place to go to. So if you can fight through it, fight through it. I mean, it's not always easy. I've suffered through anxiety and depression. Like I take Lexapro. Bless Lexapro. I wish it was in the water here. Actually, there's a shortage. I have been off of it, and I can feel the difference. Oh yes, I finally just got my prescription back today.
There's a shortage?
There was a shortage. I couldn't get
are you
it.
on generic or brand? Generic is escitalopram?
No, I think it was. No, I think it. You know what? That's a great. No, I'm trying to think, because I know I have a couple things that are like generic for.
Right.
No, I think it was just Lexapro.
Okay. Because all of a sudden I'm like, am I going to have trouble?
No,
a lot of stuff. Seems
a lot
to
of
be
yes,
like that
I know.
right now.
I know. I've heard.
No, because I had another friend who when mine was up, I kind of got lazy. You guys, not good. Don't do that. Don't listen to me right now. Keep your meds going. Blah blah blah. For like not blah blah blah. Like for real. She drove like I think like 2 hours away to like another CVS to go get it, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But I just called today. It's back
in.
It's
so uncomfortable when you miss a dose.
Yeah, it gets like a little weird for me when I would miss it. I would get like really bad. Like my nightmares would start up again. And the thing that I haven't drank in the last 2 months, and that has greatly reduced my anxiety, and I haven't been feeling my anxiety with that, but I can feel that I'm on edge. And probably my breakdown today, maybe it was because I haven't been on Lexapro for like 6 weeks at this point, and maybe I wouldn't have had such a fucking meltdown. I don't know.
It's so hard. I find it so hard to know, because when we're gonna end in a moment, but just real fast.
I love it.
I was never on antidepressants until after even though people around me probably thought I should have been. But I was like, no, it's just been situational for 12 years or whatever, you know.
But you can feel that way though. Yes.
I've just been in a bad mood since my early 20s. So, but anyway, after I had Elliot, who's my goth 6-year-old.
Yeah, love.
Okay, so
also, with the name Elliot, you knew he was going to be goth, right? Like, there's like no way around it, babe.
He was born in February. Around July, I finally admitted that, no, this is more than just like baby blues. Like, I'm having postpartum depression. I need help. So then I went on Lexapro. It helped me immensely. And that's when I got back into therapy too, which helped me so much, because I should not have not been in. And then when I was trying to get, I can't remember at what point. No, because I did IVF for both of them. So it was like I knew when we were going to be doing
and bless you for that. Like, seriously, bless every person that goes through IVF, because it is no joke. It's a lot.
So it's a lot. Everyone around me was like, you can stay on it when you're pregnant. Like, it's better to stay on it. And I was like, I don't think I need this anymore.
Right.
So going against the feelings of there was like a committee of people who were like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Like, no, it's fine. I tapered down. I got to 2.5. And then I started feeling depressed and anxious. And I didn't know
2.5 milligrams?
Yeah, which is like
that's tiny.
It's not even a therapeutic
dose.
Even a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the next step, I was tapering down. The next step would have been to go off of it completely.
Right.
And I was like, is this the real me coming back? Or is this just withdrawal? I don't know, but I dislike the feeling enough that I am going to abandon getting off of it.
You're going to go back on it.
And I've been on it ever since.
So can I tell you, that's exactly how I feel. Okay. And it's a struggle that I'm currently like having, because it's one of those things where we all know, like, you really shouldn't be going off your medication. Like, you really should not be. I come from a family. My mom's mom actually had, she was bipolar, manic depressive. She went through electroshock therapy, like in the 60s. Oh my God, so crazy. So I'm very acutely aware of like how important your medication is and staying on your dosage and everything. And, I've got a lot going on right now, and I'm like, but this is also situational, but like maybe I would be handling it differently.
Right.
But I'm also like, I'm okay with the fact that like I am upset and I can cry about it. It's okay to be upset and to be overwhelmed right now. And I never felt like Lexapro was numbing me by any means. That's the thing I loved about it when I went on it. people were asking me, like mainly like my family, they're like, how are you feeling? Like, I'm like, oh, I don't feel any different. It's not like I'm like, ooh, and so I'm like, woo woo, like, foggy face. No, I just feel even keel, I guess.
Right.
I just, but it is a weird thing when you go off.
It's super, because
I'm rambling.
I don't really think that was the real me coming back. I think that was a reaction to having less meds in my system.
Yeah.
Whatever it was, I'm like, I guess I'll never know. Oh, well.
I know. That's the thing. And that's how I feel right now. I'm like, I'm okay that I feel this way. But like, if I could be calmer because I'm taking Lexapro, then like, you know what? Yeah, let's get back on the Lexapro.
Yeah. I mean, I did experiment under the guidance of my psychiatrist, like with different doses. And there was a certain dose where I was like, I am so tired.
Yeah.
And so that was too much.
Well, do you take it at night?
Yes.
Okay, because that's the other thing. Because I had friends that went on it and they're like, I can't, like, I'm dying. I'm like, no, you have to take it at night. Like, 100% take it at night. And I remember when I first started taking it too, I'd get like the worst, like my hands were sweating all the time.
Oh.
It was really weird. It was so I'm like, oh no, now that it's out of my system, is this going to start back up when I start taking it?
I wonder if it will.
I have to pick it up on the way home.
Probably not though.
No, probably not. But yeah, no, we were out of it, and it was not responsible of me. People do as I say, not as I do.
It's my husband. He's not here, so I can talk shit about him.
Do it.
He'll always be like, "Yeah, I got to go to the pharmacy. Yeah, I ran." He'll run out of his. We call them brain pills. He'll run out of his brain pills like 2 days before. I'm like, how do you let that happen? I go so far out of my way to avoid that happening, just because it's such a weird feeling.
So I was the same exact way, and then honestly, work got really busy, and because I take it at night, I would get into bed, and I'm like, oh shit, right, I don't have my Lexapro. Okay, call tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow, it's a crazy day.
Right.
Because that's the other thing now. It's like, before coming over here, I was late because I had an order come in. Like, my life is so unexpected now. It's like, I can't really plan. It's not a good excuse, but I literally would just forget. And then I was like, but I'm feeling okay. Those anxiety, I'm not having those dreams like that would come back when I would stop taking it. So I'm like, maybe I'm okay, but I don't know. I'm going back on it.
Wow. This has been such a nice time.
Oh my God,
thank you so much for coming on. I'm now going to make you come back frequently.
Please. Okay. I would love to. And I'll come with flowers next time. I had flowers for you when they got sent in an order, so I do apologize.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'll tell you who they were for off air.
Ooh, yeah. I can't wait to find out. Tell everyone where they can find you. Plug your whatever you'd like to plug.
Oh my gosh, thank you. So right now, everything is on Instagram. So it's The Sweetser Life. So TheSweetZ as in zebra ER life LIFE. If you do thesweetserlife.com, it's just going to take you to IG right now. But if you go to my Instagram, link in bio, there's my menu is there. So you can take a look at like what my offerings are while the website gets worked on in the meantime. And then, find me on Gabrus's podcast. I've done a few of those episodes. And watch 101 Places to Party Before You Die.
Perfect.
Because I pop up on that every now and then.
Tony, what about you?
Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
And Bizarre Albums every Tuesday.
And if you like what you're hearing, or even if you don't, please make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a review. It helps us out immensely. 5 stars, please. And follow me on social media, Twitter and Instagram at Allison Rosen. I already mentioned Patreon, and I'm going to plug another Patreon because I am now doing 2 Patreons. Todd Perry, with whom I was doing Upworthy Weekly. Upworthy Weekly is no more, but we're sliding ourselves over to Patreon. There's just one level, $2 a month. You can't afford not to sign up unless you don't want to. But that, if you want to get in on the ground floor of Todd and my new show, which is going to be a little spicier than Upworthy Weekly, that is patreon.com/Allison and Todd. Allison and Todd. And then my other Patreon is patreon.com/Allison Rosen. I was waiting for Patreon drop again. I feel like we need another one.
Yeah, I like to make you wait sometimes.
Patreon. Thank you. It was satisfying. Thank you again. This was so much fun. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Allison Rosen Show?